And it looks like we're on air. So I am here with the wonderful JB Salsbury, author of many tales of romance. And JB, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Do I have to keep calling you JB, or can I actually address you by your name?
Either or is fine.
And at some point I'm going to say BJ, and that's just going to go into a whole new thing.
It's kind of appropriate.
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of.
Either, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey girl, lady, it all works.
You. Hey, you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been called worse, so.
Yeah. Well, let's go into that. So you are the author of 4 books right now, is that right?
5.
I had to count 5 because you just released a novella, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. So I'm almost finished with 6.
Jeez. And then when did you get started with all that?
It was 2 years ago, February, that I published my first book. And
now you're just like a rock star, or do you feel like you get noticed when you go to conventions or anything like that? That people are like, hey, that's JB Salsbury.
Not really. So I mean, obviously, if I go to a signing where the girls are coming specifically to see me, I have a very close relationship with my readers. So, yeah. So then, yes, but not like at the grocery store.
It's not like people are gonna pick you out of the lineup and go.
No, I don't go to the airport and they're like, "Oh, please step ahead." I'm not quite there yet.
You're on your way there, though. You're slowly getting down that path.
I don't know. Maybe.
Are you at least like a local legend yet, or do you have people that are shadowing you?
Not even close.
No. Well, I feel your pain in that. So tell us, or to anybody who doesn't know you that's watching this right now, tell us a little bit about the series that you have, because it's kind of unique in the sense that it's well. Let me back up. When I think of romance novels, I always go back to the 80s where I saw the stacks of them with, you know, a cowboy that always has his shirt off, or the mechanic that always has his shirt off, or any guy who has his shirt off, and that's what I always thought. But you kind of take a more sports angle.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I think kind of what you're thinking about, the traditional like Harlequin romance. Now we have this new wave of contemporary romance where it's all sort of modern day heroes and damsels in distress have actually become a lot more powerful. So it's not so much the, you know, when you think romance, you picture the big hunky guy and he's sort of holding the swooning girl and, you know, comes in to save her. It's very much like a fairy tale Cinderella story. But now with contemporary romance, you still get the powerful hero, but you also get an extremely strong, powerful, capable heroine. And so that's sort of this new thing. And then with indie publishing on top of it, you know, there's not as many rules as far as what a romance novel should look like. So it's, I write, the series I'm working on right now is MMA romance. So it's mixed martial arts, a series of fighters, mixed martial arts fighters, and every book covers a different fighter and they're all related. So it's kind of like every book can stand alone, but yet they all sort of tie together. And it's been fun. So I guess it would be, technically it's sports romance. And technically it's not contemporary, it's new adult, because my heroes and heroines tend to be a little bit younger, like in their 20s. I think they have to be in their 30s to be straight up contemporary romance. So I'm new adult romance.
So I am no longer new adult, I am contemporary. Shit. Well, I
know
you
aren't. You're YA.
I was just thinking of me as a person, not so much my.
Oh, yeah, you're. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might be. Aren't you? You might be breaching. You might be breaching contemporary.
I'll go with that. Yes, I'm almost there. Now with yours, I've read your first book, and I actually listened to the 3rd book. But it's not one of those series where I have to read the first one to know what's going on in the second one to know what's going on in the third one. It's I can pick up on any of these stories at any given point in time.
Yeah.
It's related in the sense that not everybody's technically related. I know that some people are and some people aren't. but
Right.
everybody kind of comes together as this kind of family, and in some cases.
Don't give away any spoilers now.
I am gonna.
Spoilers.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yes. It's like I said, I mean, every story is about a different fighter, but they are all part of the same team. And then strangely, as the writing process has gone, some of them have tied in a little closer than others. But yes, technically they should be able to stand alone, but they do read better in order, I think.
A little bit better as far as continuity, I guess, if you go through. So for anybody that is tuning in as a writer, you want to tell everybody that you are published or indie?
Ooh, I'm published, but I'm self-published.
So technically you're independent,
yes,
but you're published.
Right. It's kind of like, I remember my girlfriend, Kristen Harbour, we went to RWA, and we wore these badges that said published, and people would say, "Oh, congratulations, you're published. Who are you published by?" And we'd say, "Ourselves." You know, I mean, we're our own publisher, but it doesn't make our accomplishments any different than anyone else's, any traditionally published author. So yeah, I'm indie.
You can say it proudly. It's fine.
Like for the. I'm super proud of it. I mean, I've had the opportunity to sign a traditional publishing deal, but to be honest with you, I don't like giving up control of this business that I started and that I have put my blood, sweat, and tears into, and the idea of taking what I've worked so hard to accomplish, and I've surrounded myself with these amazing people who have helped me get there, and to take that and hand it to someone else gives me the sweats. Like I can't do it. So.
Well, I can see where that comes from your standpoint, as far as indie versus I guess traditional publishing is the way you could put it. Me personally, I love being independent. I would also love to have the perks of being traditionally published, but there's always that.
What are the perks? Yeah.
I would love if somebody could, fund more of my marketing skills and that kind of thing. It's not so much the here, take 70% of everything I'm going to make and
right.
Put it out there. I think more of like helping to get started, because when I first started, I mean, I thankfully had people that I got to network with, which actually led me to you, and you helped me a lot with just kind of getting to know what to expect, what to see out there, and that helped me a great deal. And I'm hoping that if I'm doing the same thing as you, that I'm helping a couple other people out there in the same regard. Because it's really hard to find I mean, for me, I know it's hard to find my way out there in that big old sea of people. Did you find that was the same way with you, or was it just more of like oh, that's easy?
Yeah. It's hard to say. I went into this not knowing anything. I had an amazing indie author, Elizabeth Reyes. She guided me to some incredible people. Obviously, our graphic designer, Amanda Pixel Mischief, like she, with her help in branding, and then Elizabeth's guidance with finding a really good critique group. I mean, and then as soon as the sucker was done, I just put it out there. And it's so hard to compare your books to mine, only because they're so different. I mean, romance it's huge, so it's really hard to kind of, apples and oranges to say, like, if you do A, B, and C, you'll get, D or whatever. It's hard for it to transfer. But yeah, so I just put it out there, and I was surprised. I started getting emails from people on Facebook saying, "Oh, I read your book and I loved it. And when's the next one coming out?" And I mean, I would spend 15 minutes talking to these girls. "You liked my book? Are you sure? Do you have the right author? Wait, what was it about? Are you sure you're talking about?" I mean, I thought if I sold, 6 or 7 books, I've made it, and yeah. So when I sold 6,000 books, I was like, there is no way this many people like my book. I mean, I still to this day, I was just writing the other day and I thought, this book sucks so bad. Every single book I write, I just think sucks so bad. And I think this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one that I put out and everybody realizes that I'm a total hack and I don't know what I'm doing. And, you know, at least I got to write it for 2 years, you know? So I have very little confidence in myself.
I'm sort of gathering that.
Yeah.
Confidence is making my confidence kind of too.
Yes, seriously. But it's good to be surrounded by, I have an amazing critique group. They're more than that. They're my girlfriends who are also incredible indie authors and traditionally published authors who help me with my writing. And then I have an incredible friend who helps me with my branding and all my covers and my graphics and my website. And she is so invested in my business. And these girls that help me are so invested in my business that I honestly can say that any success I've had has been because of them and because of the girls that read my books. I mean, I still, like I said, I still read what I write and I'm like,
I think that's always like the worst thing to possibly do. It's kind of like flicking the light on in a gas station bathroom and thinking like, I'm going to check myself out, see how good I'm looking. And then you go, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shirk away and go, I can't believe I wrote that. But then again, I always sometimes go back and I'm like, that was genius. How did I not know I was this good?
Yeah. I haven't quite gotten there, but I have made myself laugh a couple times, you know, where I'm like, oh, that's actually really funny. Will anyone else think that's funny?
I will say that one in the, because I didn't read the third book. Technically, I listened to the audiobook, which is kind of like cheating, but you know, that's the only way I can kind of get a lot of books in. But that flute whip a hippie part was
that's my favorite.
I just went, oh my God. And I think I actually had to text you like right after that.
You did. Yes. I love that part. I thought I was damn proud of myself for that line. It lasted, but then I had my best girlfriend read it and I was like, did you get to the part that's really funny yet? And then she read past that part. She's like, no, what was it? I'm like, damn it.
So you need somebody like me out there, like just to start the slow clap.
Right.
And then it'll just build.
Or not, but still, one slow clap will work.
Yeah, I mean, at least somebody's clapping, so I thought you did good. Can you give us any teaser hints on what your sixth book is?
Yes.
Like Disney.
Yeah. No, most of the girls know that the sixth book is about Mason, who is, we left him in book 4 and 5 severely heartbroken. So I think the girls are really excited about, they're excited to see him get his happily ever after because he's had sort of a rough go of it. So it's about Mason. But what's interesting about this book is there's not a lot of actual fighting in this book. Whereas in every other book, I thought I can't call myself an MMA romance author or call this an MMA romance series if there's no MMA fighting, right? So I'd make sure that I worked in some sort of a fighting scene. And there's a lot of training in this book and there is fighting, not necessarily in the octagon, but so Mason, he is he comes from like a surfing background. So there's some surfing stuff in there. And then his love interest is a Las Vegas stripper. So.
Stripper with a heart of gold. There we go.
She's interesting. She's a stripper who was raised by a pastor.
Well, that's different.
So she's been really fun to write.
Now, when you write stuff, I know a lot of people that are aspiring writers have asked me, you know, how much of what you write is you? Like, is this your personality? What is it? Little bits of this, little bits of that. Do you do that, or do you like pull some of this MMA stuff from things in your life, or just write it and let's do it?
Well, I moonlight as an MMA fighter. No, I don't.
See by the guns you're trying to like nonchalantly.
Yeah. Right. No, I honestly haven't watched a UFC fight since I started. I mean, that's not true. I've watched a few, but I feel like I live in that world every day. And so the idea of watching a fight, or like, for example, reading another MMA romance novel, I'm just like, that's where I am all day. kind of want to break from that. But I will say that I don't really realize it, but when my girlfriends when they read the books, I get a lot of messages saying, oh, this girl, she's so much like you, or I totally hear your voice when she says, during the scene, or, oh, she does this just like you. So I think I do infuse a little bit of myself into all the female characters, or I shouldn't say all the female characters, but all the heroines. I definitely, by accident, it's not intentional, but I think it just happens because I live so deep in their heads. And I think maybe the guys too. I've always said that I have like a horny 15-year-old boy living inside me. So.
Don't we all?
So yeah. So I think probably there's a lot of me in there, more than I'd like to own.
Yeah, that's safe to say. I mean, do you now you kind of alluded to it, but is there another series that you're kind of thinking of doing?
Not so much a series, but I do have an idea for a standalone that I'm kicking around, although I'm just finishing up fighting number 6, and so technically I wanted to take a break and work on that standalone, but now I'm sort of itching to get into one of the other character stories, just because, like you said, it's like one person, you're working on one person's story, but then another person's story is kind of like stirring in the background. And so I kind of thought, well, do I want to continue to put that guy on the back burner, or should I just tackle him while he's fresh, Yeah. So yeah, but I'd like to try something else. Although I think for me, like I said, it'd just be fun to write someone who's not a fighter. I'd like to write a hero who is a little more wimpy. I don't want to say wimpy, and I don't want to say beta, but like maybe someone I'm kind of excited to write a character who's a little bit more on the sensitive side.
Not always rushing into fights and ready to kick ass.
No, he'll still do that, but maybe someone who's a little more in touch with his feelings. I don't know. See, I just got to play with it. Yeah, I got to play with it. We'll see.
I hear you. So, yeah, that touched on something too that it's one of those thoughts that I have it for a second and now it's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you drinking in that cup?
That's a good question. None of your business.
There it is.
I was hoping that we could get some of your fans in here to get some questions, but I think that they're going to be following us after this is over.
Well, you know what, too? So all the girls that I invited are part of the Fighting Girls page on Facebook. It's a private group, and I'm in there all day, every day. So if they have anything to ask me, I answer right away. Like, they're probably just like, oh, I already know everything. I'm good. I have nothing to say.
That's sad for me, at least. Do you, when you're getting into this phase of writing, you're kind of getting towards the halfway mark or the end mark of this book?
I'm at the end mark.
So when you get to this point, do you cringe knowing that it's going to be going into editing soon? Or is that like, some people think that that's their favorite part. I personally hate it.
They like editing? Really?
I've had a couple that have been like, oh, good, I get to edit now. And I go, oh my God, I have to slaughter my children.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I worked with the same editor for all my books, and she really, I think she's become accustomed to my writing style. So it's been pretty painless. The only thing that she'll message me constantly is does anybody in this book speak grammatically correct? Do we want to, because nobody speaks grammatically correct in my books, especially. So, but no, I mean, I think there's a little bit of a relief to sending it off, because you're like, oh, it's done. Okay. It's kind of fun to, kind of move on to the next thing, get it gone and then do something else until it comes back. But my editor's very aware and respectful of the story that I tell. And so she only suggests things when it's really bad. And that's not that often. So
no pat on the back there. That's rarely happens.
No, but I will say that she doesn't give praise freely. Like I have to really ask her, like, what do you think? Would you like it? Is it bad? Just tell me if it's bad. And then she's very even keeled. She'll just say either it's not my favorite, but it's good, or she'll say, no, I really like this one. It made me cry. If it makes her cry, then I'm like,
Anytime you can squeeze out a tear, I think it's always like, God, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea. I've gotten messages. I've gotten these girls who I love to death. They've cussed me out. I've heard so many, I've been called so many names because while they're reading, and this is the beauty of social media as an author, right? It's like people read your books and they can message you at 2:00 in the morning if they want. They get to a certain part that they're upset about. They message me and I try and I get right back to them. I'm so sorry. Just keep reading. It'll be okay.
I am here with you. It's fine.
But you can be, which is cool. I mean, you can't say that authors could do that 10 years ago. So it's
a great thing that we can do now is that just involved with the readers. I mean, I'm really trying to get more of them to get involved with me, which probably makes me look a little bit needy. And I just love to have that kind of interaction. Anytime I see somebody that adds my book, I mean, I unfortunately hound through Goodreads and anything like that. And I see a mention, I'm like, oh, tell me, what do you like about it? What don't you like?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like getting I actually like getting cussed out because I feel like if they're that mad, then I've hit somewhere deep. But at the same time, when they read something that hits them on a personal level that makes them cry, then I feel really sad. And because I don't write about, as you know, real fluffy subjects. And so if anyone, when they're like, gosh, I can really relate to that and then they share their story with me, it breaks my heart, but I think it goes back to, I mean, this is fiction, but these are issues that people have dealt with and they're horrific. But, and that's why all my books will always have happily ever afters, because I hope that when people read them, they come out afterwards feeling stronger or empowered in some way, and that they don't feel like their circumstances have to dictate who they become or make them weak in any way. And so that's the whole idea of fighting. It's not even about the fighters. It's more about getting knocked down and having the strength to pull yourself back up and fight on and become a better person because of it.
Yeah, I mean, reading the first one and going through the third one, you can see, I mean, it's not really about the in the octagon fighting.
Right.
I mean, it's a part of it. It's kind of like forgive me for like putting this in there, but I watched the show The Walking Dead. It's a zombie show, but it's not, I mean, it in the same context, it's not what that's about either. It's more about the people that are in the situation, same as your book, the people in that situation from where they grew up from or where they're at right then and there. And I think that you do put in a pretty good message as far as me not expecting to get a message out of the book or whatever going through it.
Well, I hope that that's the case. And it's not even so much the intent. When I wrote the first book, my whole intention was I wanted it to feel like a fairy tale, but I didn't necessarily want it to be the hero rescuing the damsel in distress. I wanted her to come off as powerful in some way. And then it just sort of carried through. And so, I mean, I hope. I don't write it that way, but I think just naturally within me, there's all, there's a fighter. So it just happens to come out that way.
And for you, you say you don't write about fluffy stuff, but you're also not going into that deep, dark place that I've seen when I've, accidentally started going into Amazon a little bit too far. And I go, holy crap, what the hell is this about? I don't even want to read the synopsis for that. It's not dark, right?
No, and I wouldn't even say it's dark. I mean, the audiobook you listen to, Fighting to Forget, is probably the darkest I've gone. But okay, this is going to sound totally sappy, but I have, okay.
Oh, no, sorry.
I will not cry. I have so much respect and so much, I genuinely, every woman, because it's mainly women, although the occasional man too, I have so much respect and love for the people that open my books. And so I feel responsible. I feel like I have a responsibility to take care of their hearts, I guess, while they go on this roller coaster journey. So it's like there are ups and downs in the book, but it will always end up a happily ever after. And I try to, when it does get a little dark, I try to write it in a way that's not in your face, like you probably witnessed and forget. It's like there was definitely a disgusting, horrible side of that book, but I didn't write it in detail out of respect for my readers, because I want them to enjoy reading the book. I mean, granted, I want them to feel, but I don't want them to get physically nauseous or put it down because it's too dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and thank you for that. I didn't want to get physically nauseous, especially when they're like talking to me.
Yeah, that's odd. It's a little awkward. But I will say, because I'm a fan of dark romance. I've read recently some dark erotic romance that, I'll admit there have been parts that I put down and I literally feel a little bit sick to my stomach. And then I start to question, should I even be reading this? And, I don't want my readers to ever have to feel that way. Of course, I finished the books and they were good, but still.
I think anytime you get into too much detail in any type of book, though, you're kind of robbing the readers of that imaginative part that you're trying to leave space for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think when you get into that really dark space of writing, then you've taken that freedom away, and then it's no longer the readers anymore. They're just along for the ride instead of sitting side by side with you.
Right. And I personally, I don't like, again, I read it, so I'm not criticizing it, but me personally, when I get into that headspace, I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
So I try to, anyway, so I do, I mean, obviously, in book 1, it's like Raven's the daughter of a pimp and a prostitute who she was basically bred for prostitution. I mean, that's pretty dark. But I don't get into a ton of the details behind that, So I don't know, maybe I'm just a big fat wimp. That could be it. But anyway, my point is that I just, I take the responsibility of my readers' hearts and their mindset on a day-to-day basis. I feel like reading should be an escape from reality. And with all the crap we have, I mean, we have heads getting chopped off on the news, and we have, babies getting murdered and children getting molested and disgusting, gory details. I feel like, why go there? They can get that on TV.
That's what news is for.
Right. That's what real life is for.
Who wants that? Come read a book.
I don't even watch the news. I can't handle it. So.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go from that dark, crappy note, and then we'll hop into something a little bit more light. How's that?
Okay.
So for a game I was trying to devise in the morning of today, like, what can I do that's fun? And I figured, since you write fighting romance, I'm going to have you choose a winner between 2 fighters, but I'm just going to make them up right here and now. I'm not even going to go off the sheet that I had.
Yeah, right. Like you're making them up.
Yep. And here's one. Who would win in a fight between Mr. T and Ice-T?
Oh.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That, you?
Holy moly.
Mr. T and Ice-T in their prime, not like current day. I don't even know.
I'm gonna say Ice-T because he's gangster, whereas Mr. T's more like gangster for TV.
I'll give you that one. That one's pretty good. How about Colonel Sanders versus the Wendy's guy? Both white hair.
There's a Wendy's guy? I thought that was a girl.
Isn't it Dave Thomas?
Oh, Dave Thomas. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Colonel Sanders because he's Southern.
Southern?
Isn't he?
Well, no. Well, Kentucky. I mean, I guess that's kind of south, but yeah, we'll just go. Plus, he's in the military. He's a colonel of something.
Oh, see? Or wait, is he? That's not his name? Name's not Colonel?
I really don't think so, but I'm going to have to Google that when we're done.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That was a good one.
Let's see. Let's do classic superheroes here. Who would win between Captain America and Superman?
Um,
Say the right one.
I think I'm gonna go with Captain America. I'm sorry, but he has like Superman's got nothing. I mean, he doesn't even have like a cool like shield thing.
He's got lasers that come out of his eyes.
See, I don't know much about it. Captain America. Doesn't have any of that.
We're just gonna move on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a hard one.
I'll give you that. And that's mainly because I'm a nerd and you're not.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Really. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Let's do trying to think of something classic that you and I can really bond with. What about Scooby-Doo versus what's the name of the dog from the Jetsons? I don't even remember. Elroy. Thank you.
Nice.
I had some background there.
I'm gonna go with Scooby-Doo.
See, now that's a good one that I can actually end this game with. Because if you had said Elroy, who I didn't even know the name of.
I was gonna say, I don't think you're a fan of Elroy anyway.
Not really. But I was trying to think of cartoon dogs, and that was really the only one. Because I was thinking Dino, and then Dino's not a dog, he's a dinosaur.
But Scooby's he's like a PI dog. He like solves crimes and stuff, and he does drugs.
That's never been proven. I just want you to know that. Never been proven.
Okay.
He's a sleuth, though. I'll give you that.
That's a tough one.
Now and then.
Yeah. That's a tough one, though. That was a good game.
Oh. And if I would have thought of more, maybe we could have done it like rapid fire. Like only giving you seconds to answer. Next time.
Yeah, like the first thing you think of. Yeah.
So I like to end on the note of, well, first of all, new thing I'm going to do for everybody that I interview, you have to pick a question that I have to ask the next interviewee, even though you don't know who that is, most likely. But I will have to ask them that first question off the bat, which I did warn you about. So now you have the answer.
Yeah, I didn't plan for this, but I think just in hearing you say it, I think I have one.
Do tell.
I do. Are you ready?
Here, let me steeple my fingers a little bit. Tell me.
I want to know, because I feel it seems as though most writers have either some sort of a weird, what's the word? I don't want to say superstition, but like a, what is it? What's the word?
Phobia?
No, like something they do before they write or while they write, or some people are like, I know, a what?
Like a regiment?
Yeah, but like a
process.
No, like for me,
this is gonna be a terrible Pictionary duo, you and I.
Seriously, I'm like, where's my thesaurus? No, but okay, so like some people they have to write with music on, or some people write better with they have a favorite snack that they have, or there's like a routine, like a little something that they do when they write that maybe they'll be writing for an hour and then realize that they haven't done it, and then they go, oh, I didn't do that, I got to do that. What would you call that? A routine or a right?
OCD. Gotta wash the hands 4 times and then I can actually write.
You don't have anything like that?
Not yet, but maybe that comes when you get a little bit more famous. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's my question. I think I want to know the next author that you talk to, if they have something that they do before they write, or something that they need to have with them, or some sort of a ritualistic thing that they do when they sit down to write.
I really hope for my sake that there's no sacrificing.
There could be.
Well, judging who I know it is, I'm not really going to rule it out yet.
Who is it?
Her name is Jacqueline E. Smith. She writes some mystery, supernatural type horror. And well, that should tell you right there.
I bet she has one then.
She probably has like chickens in the back just ready.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. I'll have to watch to see what the answer is.
Yes. Anybody who's here, tune in and see what the answer just might be.
Yeah.
But other than that, I do want to plug you a little bit because your first book is free right now still. Yes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Fighting for Flight. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm 2 for 2 today, I think. Maybe
It's a
2.
miracle.
I didn't really get the routine thing in. So, yeah, we'll leave it.
So you really don't have one? One thing that you do? You have a snack you have, or like maybe you wear your glasses, or like do you feel like
I breathe and I wear my glasses.
maybe that's your problem?
Really,
Maybe you need to get one. You need to come up with one.
I think I probably have one. I mean, I don't think I can't start writing if I don't have a song in my head. I don't know why.
See?
I know you're kind of on the same page. You have your own little like playlist out there, I think, that's available at the end of one of your books, or all of them.
All of them.
So I mean, you can kind of go along and kind of see the process of characters in the book, what you're thinking of when you're writing. I kind of do that sort of thing. I have mine posted out on Spotify, I think, somewhere. So yeah, I have that going on for me. There's dogs running around. And on that,
And on that note,
your first book is free. Your next book is in the works. You have 4 other ones out there. Go check them all out. I'm sure most people that are watching this already have all of them. Go check out your website. Has some like apparel and stuff like that too on it, doesn't it?
yeah.
See, plugging you.
I know.
And much kudos to our dear friend at Pixel Mischief who actually designed your site, right?
Yes.
Hopefully one day I can afford her my very own.
I doubt it, because I won't let anybody take her from me.
She's not exclusive. She does work for me too. Just really
Does
small.
she?
It's like this, and you might have like this much over here. But
No,
I'll close the gap one of these days.
I'm telling you, she's in high demand now. So
I've noticed that.
you got to start booking like a year in advance.
I know, it's sad.
Not for her.
Not for her. Good for you. And on that, I will honestly end this. And thank you again for joining me. It's always a hoot talking to you, but I talk to you as frequently as I possibly can. So hopefully now some of our fans will kind of go, that person's awesome. And they will. And, you know, I'm not saying who you should check out, but I need it more than you do.
Okay.
All
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are most welcome. JB Salsbury, everybody.
Peace.